Welcome back, guys. Looks like we are going to be going into this pistol round. Yes, I was mucking about with the camera. Yes, I'm weird. Leave me alone. Either way, we are going straight in. I'm going to let Harry take away this one because I know how much he loves a good pistol.
I do love a good pistol round, Tom. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And yeah, no, for Vega, they're just going to be buying up armor across the board. Almost with JR, who's going to be the exception to that rule. He's got himself the diffuse kit and armor. The Prosto, they're going to be running a similar strategy, but already Crush going to be decapitated over in mid as Vega look to try and take some aggression. They will be boosting up Smike to try and trade things back. He's going to get spotted, trying to do damage with the PT-50, but shut down instantly. Now, luckily enough for Prosto, the PT-50 does drop, but they've boosted a player up in the form of Mir, and he's going to be looking to make his way in through mid. Spots out the first, and will be forced back, but isn't going to hop on down just yet. Going to keep taking the repeak, and will be punished for it by Kenzo. So they do manage to find one on the aggression from Vega. Boosted another player up to try and contend with mid. It's going to be forced on back. They don't want to keep repeaking out to these players in mid. We've demonstrated that mid is just not the place to go. And while Ken's all going to be on his own over in A main, they're actually going to opt to boost up Flaric once again. Who now this time catches mid when there's only one player, saying that Chopper's just rotated around into Z. While Flaric's been allowed to sneak on by, Def and Kenzo, both players making their way in towards A main, now ready to push out towards A bomb site. The first have to deal with Hoochie. They're going to tag him down low. And a measly 7 HP as the push does come in. Hoochie going to be the first man to go down. Shadow's able to get one, but then the trade comes in swiftly from Flaric over in mid. And now it's into the 2-on-2. Prosto doing a great job of closing this man advantage out. Flaric going to be caught and isolated though over in mid as Chopper decapitates him, leaving this all on Def. 1v2 does have bomb planted, fallen back into Squeaky. Might be able to make this work, especially as Chopper lags behind a little bit on the rotate in. JR spots him out. Now they know where he is. They have to try and trade this one out evenly. And JR just going to be hopping on that bomb defuse. Def trying to contend with Chopper. Now going to be running into the smoke to get the knife. Does find the knife, but defuse will come in from Chopper. JR probably going to be a little bit disappointed in his teammate there and not stopping that one. And the buy, I think, you know, I mean, they could actually go for one now. Or, yeah, you know, that wouldn't surprise me. They're going to be able to get, you know, two very, very decent rifles up. You know, 2 AKs on the board, 3 players with Deegs. It's a very decent buy for them to try and work with, all things considered.
Yeah, Chopper actually clearly likes watching people get knifed. Maybe it's the name. It sort of makes sense, if anything, right? Unless he's referring to a helicopter. But either way, we are going to have 2 AKs, a few Deagles. That knife can actually help them quite a lot in terms of how much utility and how much they're going to be able to put behind this buy. Although there goes one. It will be traded back. Actually, a lot of damage done from Chopper as well. And nice spray control from Kenza. Takes down 3 players in middle, turning this round on its head. The investment working wonderfully so far. This one man tearing them apart. Already we're going to see another crush. We'll finish off JR, and it's looking like we're going to see the resurgence already of Prosto. It only takes 1 round to break back, and I said this earlier, it seems like Vega just have problems in these early rounds. They're unable to hold on, even if they do win the pistol. But Hootie, maybe there's something he can do. He's actually going to avoid Flaric, who is going to go rotating back around. The problem is that means there's a player now in his back lines. Rifle still on the floor somewhere. I know there was an M4 around, so maybe he can look to try and find that. And there we go. That's something to play with at least. Has a bit of utility. Unfortunately, nothing to really do damage, so no incendiaries can't force them out of position. And Flaric is waiting.
Yeah, and Flaric's going to be falling on back in towards the site. You can actually see that Smike's going to try and go hunting over mid to deny Hootie saving up this M4. Well, Flaric pushing out towards CT as well. Gonna spawn out Hootie over towards Truck. Smike making it as well. Highway gonna be the first man to contend it, and will find the frag. The M4 gonna be dropped, and Prosto straight back on the board. The very convincing force buy there. So now the force gonna be coming in from Vega this time. They've got next to nothing to invest into this, and you know, we just saw them lose versus this buy when it was only 2 AKs. And they had a collection of rifles and UMPs. Now they've only got Deegs across the board. And it's going to be 3 rifles in play for Prosto, 2 UMPs, and a boatload of utility up behind it.
PT side will invest into some pistols. Chopper has been a beast with this Deagle, but he's going to be the one to actually not even up to buy armor. Could have bought some Kevlar behind it, but decided against it. Not saving for an AWP either, as that's normally JR, so interested to see if that's just a need for extra utility or wanting to have a spare Deagle in the next round, which definitely could be the case. Also, I don't mind players dropping armor in these sort of situations, because if you're holding a Deagle, unless you're being naded, the majority of the time, if you miss a shot, you're probably dead anyway, so it's sort of not the worst case scenario, and it still gives them a decent chance to do damage. Crush, actually going to get tagged down relatively low. Of course, the T's in a much better situation going into this round, and you can see they're just going to play fairly passively overall. Although Kenza catches the aggression of Hootie over towards Squeaky and opens up this round. Ooh, there we go, Chopper, though. There we go. Hits the headshot onto Smike. Takes down one of the AKs as well. Close range. That's the bomb in mid. That's a big mistake from Def. Handing the bomb over to Cassandra, who's now picked up an AK. Has Kevlar behind it. Mir's going to find another in the meantime. And now, well, this is looking poor from Prosto.
Yeah, Crush and Flag re-rotating around over towards mid. They have to try and pick this bomb up, and Vega have it fully under their control. Just going to be locking it down. The AK and the Deagle trying to hold things in mid. Crush going to be the first to fall, leaving this all on Flower. Peeks on out, does find the first on a Chopper. Now wants to try and dispatch up Cassandra, and it will be shut down. Cassandra with 3 massive frags in that round. Ultimately, even if he did find all the kills in mid, there was no time left. So Vega go ahead and take one straight back. The Deags proving to be mightier than the AK. And while the buy to come in once again from Prosto to try and steal one straight back. But this time, when you look at the buy from Vega as a result of what they were able to save out of that round, it's going to be fantastic. 5 rifles in play. 3 rifles for Prosto, though. Does give them a bit of a fighting chance. A little bit of utility up behind it as well. They just have to get these trades more reliably. They can't leave that bomb over in mid. Marcus Shannon going to kickstart this one for Vega, trying to shut this down early on.
Just loses his life. Goes down to 14 HP from the spray through the wall. CT side. Actually going to boost into vent as well, giving them more control over towards middle. It's such an effective angle to take. Without Molotovs, it's very difficult to clear without just pre-firing the angle, and that leaves you open to so many more positions. Really, you need more utility smokes as such. Kenza trying his best to spam through the door with the Deagle. I'll be surprised if he gets anything through it. I'm still sort of just confused as to Def's decision to take the bomb middle in that round. It just seems like a really weird thing to do when you're alone. Maybe didn't know he had it, but that's still not really good enough at this sort of stage. And they have given a lifeline over to Vega. And as said, normally in these early rounds, they do make the mistakes. They made the mistakes. The problem is, Prosto now haven't capitalized on it. At least for now. They do still have Flourish and Def on a rifle each. Kenza with the AK. Already 2 players over towards this A site. Hootie getting over towards the site itself. Already finds 1, 2, and leaves Flaric alone. 30 seconds left. The Molotov going to be slowing him down at least, allowing more rotations to come in from this CT side. And Flaric stuck over towards that forklift. An awful lot of work to do, and he'll be cleaned up. Lovely round as well from Hootie to pick up the double. And Vega now break the economy of Prosto. Gonna see attack pause early, and I think that's good news.
Yeah, that's something I think we have to commend a lot of these, CIS teams that we have seen play. They're very willing to take these pauses early on, and being only 5 rounds in, the scoreline being 3-1, I think it is the exact definition of an early pause. But it just goes to show you that they've realized the errors they're making, and they're trying to sort them out early on, which is commendable, regardless of if it works. And I mean, this round they're going to have nothing to work with. They just have to go for the full eco. Def could invest into a P250, but that's a singular pistol amongst the 5 of them. So, yeah, I mean, the decision that's just been made will be about how they're going to head into the round following this, when they do get back onto those rifles, when they do have the buy under their belts. And actually, looks like... I was going to say, Kashanan just going to be buying up the UMP. He knows there's going to be nothing for Prosto to work with, so he's going to look to try and make some money in this round. 4 players heading over here towards a solitary player towards that B side in the form of Def, already going to be decapitated early on, so now the remaining 4 for Prosto making their way in through Squeaky. Gonna try and hit this A-bomb site in the back of blunt force with these Glocks and BT-50 charging on in. Ken's actually able to find one, but Mir gonna be lining them up, knocking them down, gets himself 3. Oh, it's gonna fall to the last. Smike finds the frag. The bomb plant gonna be coming on in, but charging into the site is Kashanda, and he will shut that down. Looking like they could have nearly got that bomb planted. Just missing out on it, but they do find 2 frags in a round where they only invested $600. That's actually a nice return on investment from them.
Yeah, they make their money back and they do damage as well. The bomb plant would have been absolutely wonderful. Like, if they get the bomb plant there, that's completely nailed on the head the round. That's exactly what they needed to do, and they were so close to doing it. Just quick thinking from Kashanda, just running into the site, making sure that that bomb is denied. Then it will mean the utility's a little bit more limited in this round. There's no AWP as of yet for Smike. Flaric can be hit by the nade. Doesn't do too much, but you have to think in these sort of smaller numbers, when you have an M4, can actually make a big difference. This could be the difference between a one-tap and him getting a second chance. And Hootie goes walking towards that door, and Kenza headshots him through it. Nice start to the round from Prosto. They have themselves the man advantage. Now we have to see how they actually utilize it.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to turn their attention over here towards mid. I imagine they're going to try and boost up one of these players. Flaric going to be the one boosted up in mid. The Molotov to force the chopper out of vents as well is actually going to miss its mark. So as a result, he's allowed to stay in there. And this is something that normally trips up a lot of teams. They're going to believe the vent's clear. Now he takes the peek on out, finds the first. Kashanda is going to be coming on in, but will fall actually as the crossfire does not prevail. Ken's going to be able to take him out. Now leaving just Mir in towards A, all on his lonesome. Players coming up through highway. He's going to rely heavily on JR to try and help him out in this scenario. And while Flaric does mop him up on the site, gets a second in mid and a third. Flaric, what the hell was that? Gets himself 3 insane frags, and ones that he never should have got, just pivoting back and forth over on highway. And that's Prosto to go ahead and find themselves a second round now already. Comparable to how we saw them play yesterday versus Vega, this is looking much better.
The amount of damage they've done as well is massive. Sort of getting even just a couple of kills. Sometimes those kills that seem smaller in the round before can make a massive difference. And because of that, Chopper's actually on a deagle. Now, whether that's a weakness for him or not is a question, because this guy is nuts with the deagle. But considering he's playing solo B, I do have to question the decision making a little bit. Now, something we've seen quite often is Vega wanting to go for this boost in middle. It looked like they were going to plan something early on, but instead they're going to just leave Kashanda up close and actually have 3 players now fall back to the A side. They're sort of gambling here, just based on where we've seen this T side go so far. They seem a little bit more dedicated to hitting that A site, so a little bit of a gamble pulled in. Interested to see Chopper actually falling away. You have to remember, he's the only person here and he has a deagle, so doesn't need to be in a sort of over-rotation position. You want to make sure that he's just ready to hit. Molotov attempting to clear some closer angles, but Kashandra's still going to be able to stay in spot. I think they've been ready. That's sort of a counter to the boost we've actually seen already in the last couple of games that they've played. T's still waiting very patiently, though, as they do look like they're going to be hitting this A site once again, although with 35 seconds left, they're actually going to challenge for mid.
Shadow will find the first, but will be outstaying as well. Mir going to be there to trade things back. Now there's push coming in over here towards the B-bomb side. Leaves a lot of pressure on Chopper with this dig. The nade going to find some crazy damage, but Crush will shut him down. It's going to be a 3-on-3 in the retake. Everyone over here towards the B-bomb site. Mir going to be the first man on the scene, trying to watch the cross. Will be flashed back. His teammates rotating in through CT to try and assist. The smoke is going to be there for the time being to block him off. Kenzo going to be up in vents watching the aggression out through mid. No one going to be coming that way from Vega as they all rotate in through CT and Heaven. Well, bomb timer taken away. They're trying to make their way in. They've got lots of angles to clear. JR going to be the first man in with this AWP and spots the player out over in a checkers. But Ken's going to be raiding death out from vents. Leaves this in the blink of an eye all on Hoochie, who's going to be on the site, faking out this defuse. Peek's coming on in and just Prosto playing this one perfectly, trying to get out of the site, trying to save, will be shut down. And that is another round now to go the way of Prosto on this T side.
Gamble not paying off whatsoever from the CT side. They leave that one Deagle over towards B, and it's just unable to do anything, and that just isolates that B site for the T side. They're able to play after plumb positions. The crossfire is lovely as well. They're able to find all the players pushing in the end. Damage done. The T's as well looking to make themselves a bit of extra money in this round. With the MAC-10, but never mind. It's going to be the eco frags for Crush. Padding those stats. Doubling his kills in one round. Mir, you're going to hand him the ace? Yes, he is.
And this is where things start to get a little bit tricky here for Vega. Now it's going to go 4-4. They're buying up into this round, but on the CT side, something that we see happen a lot is teams get into this scenario where you buy, then you lose, and then you save, have very little money the next buys, and you buy, then you lose, then you save, and you just go back and forth, stuck in a vicious cycle of just awfulness. And look, once again, I mean, the utility is going to be scarce between Vega. As Prosto look to make their way over here towards B early on. The hot flash going to come in from Chopper, allow him to get the first, now falling on back, trying to stay alive, and we'll have a teammate here to help him out in the form of JR. They're going to be doing a lot of damage early on to Prosto, but don't want to overstay their welcome. Ken's now rounding the corner, knows from where these guys went aggressive, there's a good chance that someone could still be lurking up close, and that man is going to be JR. Just watching the angle. We've also got the trap boost employed up here from Hootie over to here towards the A-bomb site. Allows one of these players to rotate off and try and help out over at B. Prosto going to be rotating on back, looking to turn their attention instead out towards mid. And this time, Vega, they've made the decision to not play anyone here. So it's gone from a very heavy mid presence from the CT side to completely barren. And that is going to allow Prosto just to go ahead and take this if they'd like.
Poke into Z, not going to allow too much pressure there. You can see Mir as well. Going to switch his attention to peek towards Highway. Def hot flashed in, but unable to find too much. However, the players are looking to split towards this B site. And remember, there's still 3 players here. Kenza looking to go for the flash, but still doesn't know that we're going to have a player closer, though he does pre-fire. Finds the opening kill and a second. Can't quite get the third as Cassandra still sits on the site trying to stay alive. Gets his second and a third for himself. As we see trades of just 2 players at the moment. Now Smike left alone. Manages 1. Can he now do a 3K of his own? Spots out Hootie. Needs to look up and can't finish off Mir. Wonderful stuff from Cassandra. Nice attempt from Kenza. But at least in this scenario, the T's still have money to buy.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a strong buy at that, even stronger than that of Vega on the CT side. The team that just won that round out, going to be the ones with the worst buy coming into this. They have got utility this time. You've got Chopper relegated down to the Deeg and Kashanda on that UMP, which is less than ideal when you look at the buy coming in from Prosto. They've got all the utility they could possibly muster, along with the AWP on Smike, rifles across the board. And they're going to be turning their attention this time over towards the A-bomb site early on. They do, however, have 2 players over at B, just waiting to see if any early aggression comes out in the form of Crush and Smike. Kashanda playing up close to mid. Looks like he could decide to go aggressive. As the smoke goes down, just going to opt to watch the angle. And while Prosto going to be doing the exact same thing. Just everyone playing this very, very passively early on. Kenzel over in Squeaky. Flarak in A main. Still just waiting to see if anyone peeks out over on this A-bomb site. Looks like they might finally be boosting a player up in towards mid. I imagine that's going to be Smike with the AWP. No, instead he's going to turn his attention towards A main, and they're going to be boosting up Crush. Kashanda now rotating around over towards middle. Only has that UMP to work with, so it's going to be a huge disadvantage taking this engagement. Everyone else from Pro 100 ready to push in towards A. Smokes and flashes now raining on in. The Molotovs to force the players out from the back of the site. The push coming on through. Bahuchi to find the first and the second. Up from the Shroud boost. Finally going to be dealt with by Kenza. Now Chopper with the D. Going to be the next to fall as Kenza comes in swinging. Shadow able to get one, but then Crush trades it back. And into the 2-on-2 we go. Still have Kashana over towards Forklift. Shutting this down. Drops the AWP on Smike. And now it's all eyes on Crush. 1v2. Making his way in from Highway. Gonna fall to Kashana, who gets the 3k and secures Vega a 6th round.
Yeah, the boost re-employed there after it wasn't spotted in the previous round on A, so it can be just recycled into the next round, and it works wonderfully. The double kill on the entry just completely throws off any sort of setup the T's had. They were leaving it late, a sort of classic CIS style of only 20-second execute, and the second that happens, everything that they planned just falls apart. It turns into a straight-out brawl. In middle, we do see Crush able to take down JR on the AWP, but he's a little bit late to the party after that battle, and because of it, it leaves Smike alone, and he's unable to find anything. This round, again, going to be a force buy out from Prosto. Now, they've been able to do some decent work with it so far. However, they could have had a much better buy in the next round, so they really need to make sure this is at least costly for this CT side. Push in, Hootie down straight away. Kenza's been great on the entry so far, but now with Mir on the trade, looking for more. JR actually hiding in the smoke. They will spot him out, though. Gets that first kill, but still Mir just trading things back, still alive, just surviving for so long. Finally, they get rid of him, but in the meantime, his teammates have been able to rotate. The time wasted just so important in that round, and Vega will crush this attempt at an attack and get themselves a 7th on the CT side.
Yeah, I do think that Prosto really need to step up in these next couple of rounds, because when Vega get onto that T side, I mean, admittedly, I do think Prosto looks stronger today, but when Vega get onto that much preferred side, that's where they become terrifying. So, Prosto need to try and pick things up. This one going to be a bit of a light investment, as they did force buy into the last round. Kashana going to be holding the push in towards B from Checkers. Solitary flashbang going to head out through the smoke. Doesn't hit the mark. And Kashana should have been to mop them up here, but no, Kenza trades it back straight away. Now it's the 4-on-4. The pushing towards the B bomb site going to be coming on through. And, well, Flaric is the only man within the site. He's the one with the bomb. Smike actually going to deal with Chopper. That's going to allow him to cross with the bomb onto the site, but in the blink of an eye, just frags going all the way at Vega as it falls onto Smike. 1v2, and he will fall to hit you. It is going to be Vega in with an 8th. Prosto don't get the bomb down as they would have liked, but they've still got plenty of money to buy up on the back of the loss bonus.
XM. There we go. Chopper seems to be another player just after my heart. He's bought this a couple of times now. We saw it on Nuke yesterday as well. Interested to see where he plays it. A lot of damage done, though. It has to be said in that round. They dropped, what, 3 players in the end? So, making things very costly. They've got their full buy-in on this one. Chopper could be going close on B. So, sort of over towards that checker spot, I imagine. Makes a lot more sense. Or just play around the smoke in general. T's have managed to take control. But towards A main. Actually going to be going to try and find a gap in the smoke, but nothing to be seen as of yet. Cassandra taking peeks over towards middle, clearing the left side, making sure nobody's been able to peek in as of yet, and actually looking to try and go a little bit deeper, making sure there's nobody who can counter him at the moment, but Flaric finds the entry over towards A. 2 players will in fact rotate him from Highway, and the T's haven't really dedicated too many players in that direction as of yet. In fact, Crush is going to start making his push, or making his presence at least, known over towards B.
Yeah. Just tap that. Tom, take it. Sorry.
Cassandra in middle.
Not my day.
Will have a lot of players coming his way. We're going to see Smike on the boost, Flaric with him deaf. Actually just going to peek out of main, give him an opportunity to at least find one. Gets tagged down to 8 HP. JR there to help him as well on the AWP. And actually Cassandra's going to do it alone. Just taking down multiple players. Smike will finally trade and Crush is there as well. Back and forward goes this round, and Chopper with the trusty XM will have to throw it away because the range of that weapon isn't quite good enough for him. Bomb will be down on the site. Smike gonna take aggression into A main. The bomb planted very open as well, so to clear both these angles is going to be very difficult. He needs to find one of these kills fairly quickly, but does have an incendiary, has a flashbang as well, kit in hand. First of all, he's going to be able to clear out Crush. Well, actually, it doesn't look like the Molotov spread quite enough. That's unfortunate. We'll leave him in a bit of a corner, down to just 9 HP, but he can't get the kill. And look at the position of Smike. Easy headshot. Finishes off Chopper. Leaves, well, Vega in a problematic situation of their own, as JR is going to have to be a bit of a catalyst in this round. The T-side will be able to purchase themselves.
Yeah, I mean, the one question that keeps ringing in my mind is this enough? You know, Prosto have looked better, but they are on, yeah, I mean, they're on a side that's usually, you know, good for them, and Vega, they're on a side which usually they struggle on more. So I do think they need to get a couple more rounds. This is their chance now to pick themselves up a 6 to close this gap even more and go for a very even half. Def able to open things up, dropping out Kashana over in mid. Kenzel, once again, playing this squeaky position. We've seen him entering towards A from it time and time again. Usually it works out well. They've already grabbed this early man advantage by dropping out Kashana. No trade in sight. The AWP on JR still struggling to do anything really over here towards B. There's only Crush with an initial shot, and he's going to claim a life, and JR actually misses the opportunity to refrag. That could have been a bit of a difference maker in and of itself, as now they have a 2-man advantage and a rotating round over here towards A, ready to try and crack on it through the defense. Mara and Hootie, they're going to be here 2 versus 5 in this push, 2 versus 4 in this push, essentially. The Molotovs to try and isolate these players out of the open. Mir going to be the first man to go down, and now Hootie able to find one, looking to try and get more work done. Gets himself a second somehow, but then Flak able to trade things out. It will be the 1-on-3 as it all falls onto JR. Coming in with the AWP from Truck, has to be wary because there is a player over in mid. It's going to be Crush. Flaric and Smike within the site. Peak looking like it's going to come out from Smike, and I think he saw him there and didn't take the shot. Instead, it's going to fall on back. Actually, I'm not too sure they did see him. There's no rotate coming in from Crush, so I imagine they couldn't have. He's just going to flash himself back, timed being too far gone. Doesn't find anything as well immediately. Now just going to look to save. Crush actually rotating in it through Connector. He's going to catch him out, though, looking to try and hold on to that AWP, and he will fall as a result. So that's now Prosto with a 6th. No money left for Vega, means the force buy has to come on in. And while they have looked deadly with these pistols, Prosto have looked deadlier with the rifles on these anti-ecos.
Yeah, I feel like Vega in that round, like, they went for quite an audacious buy. But to be honest, it looks like they're confident, and I don't blame them. They know that they're good at this T-side. We've seen them be very impressive so far. We're going to have to see an absolute stellar performance from Prosto. But first, they need to finish off this round. They have to just make sure they get to 7, give themselves the opportunity to get the pistol, and it has to be said, Vega are not particularly good at them. That could get them anywhere up to about 10 rounds, and then, hey, then they're only looking to try and get a few, maybe a reset along the way, and there's a chance that they could actually take this one. Either way, in this round, the buy is pretty abysmal. A lot of pistols. UMP. Hootie the only one with anything, really. Actually has all the utility that they have as well, other than flashbangs. Mid. Not really up for contention as of yet for either side. The problem is, it comes down to range. Now, Chopper can hit the shots with the Deeg. The CZ may be at a push, but you're sort of tapping away bullets and praying for a miracle. In the meantime, we are going to see Kenza again, just waiting over towards the squeaky door, and that's a nice little timing opening. Just opens the door to make sure he can pick up that first kill. The rest of the team are just going to come barreling in with him. Cassandra, however, will drop the bomb.
Yeah, now the bomb being out in the open, the rotate coming on through. JR even looking to try and come in through middle to help out. This push slowing right down for Prosto as the smokes actually now look to obstruct them, in spite of them originally being there to help out. They don't want to be moving to the site up against these pistols in close range, so they're going to wait for the smokes to fade. Now just walking on in. Pop flash to allow Crush to take the peek out on the slight, but Kashana does find him. Now it's going to be the 3-on-3. The trades go back and forth, and they're doing a lot of damage. Kashana still raiding death on in. JR trying to rotate on around to help out. Kashana to the side, going for the knife, and he's going to get it. Just butchers Smike, gets himself the 4K, and one of them with the knife, no less. Oh no, Tom. What just happened?
That's got to be so demoralizing. 4 kills from Cassandra, including a knife. The money's not going to help him. It was literally just because he ran out of bullets, which is madness that he still gets away with that. And that 1 kill, Smike gets that, and it's JR with the Deagle to try and retake versus him, but they just get bogged down trying to push into the site. Everything seems to be going wrong at once. You have to remember they took the early pick, and then Cassandra just managing to maneuver himself around, doing so much damage. And they end on a 9-6. Now, they're sort of trying to win that pistol to make sure they even up the scoreline on that CT side. And Vega, going on to their favored side of the map, must be feeling confident now. They've got to be. They just won a round with very, very little.
Yeah, that was one thing I was going to say. I mean, originally I was thinking Vega, it's not the best half from them, really. I think they would have expected more, and Prosto were looking good. So I imagine that maybe moving into their T half, they could have been perhaps a little bit low on the morale in comparison to what we saw yesterday. Definitely not looking as confident. But then they go and win out that last round. One of the frags being with a knife. And, you know, an investment which was, you know, what, like a quarter of that of the money that Prosto put into the round. I think that's going to be the morale boost they needed to now, you know, show that confidence we saw the other day on Cash once again. So into the pistol, it's going to be 3 players with armor. The raid boss on Hootie and Chopper with that trusty Deeg. Smite going to be watching mid early on. And Chopper over here towards B, going blow for blow with Kenza. Both players missing those opening shots. Vega Squadron just going to be handed mid for free, and they're going to take that in their stride as they push on out. And it looks like they're going to try splitting in towards B, making their way in towards vents. Kenza watching this from the cubby in checkers. Has to be careful because really this should be a bit of a one and done position. They are going to check it if they come in, and even then they're looking hesitant as to whether or not that's what they want to go for. There are 3 players currently for Prosto over here towards B, so it would be the wrong call to make. And to not be too eager in this push, they're actually going to rotate JR over towards A to try and scout things out and see if it is the right call.
A nice shot from Chopper to take down the players at the back box of checkers. Already they're going to find a second as well, as Smike is the last defense, and Chopper, insane with this Deagle. Just loves to buy it up, and you can see why the range working out for him once again. And now Crush is left with Flourish to try and retake this site. The A players, they were the minority in this round, as only 2 of them were over there. Instead, they have to be so much more. Looking for the kills will be Crush. He's actually going to find the double, opening things back up into this round. They do not have a kit, remember, so there's still so much left to do. Chopper just going to be peeking out, trying to get towards that Deagle. Kit has actually been found, and Crush now just going to be going for the defuse. This could work out wonderfully as they're just spamming away with the Glock, and he will get the defuse. Great round from Crush. The pistol looking perfect from Vega, but it's not to be.
Yeah, I mean, really good stuff there from Crush. It was a round that it looked like Prosto had no business making their way back into. It was a 2-on-4 until he quickly turned it around. And that was on the back of some unfound aggression from Vega in towards CT, CT. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like they're playing confident as though they're all playing really well. But really, when you look at the scoreboard, it's only Cassandra and Mir who have had much to write home about. And no one else playing half as, oh, okay, they're going to go ahead and decapitate Smike early on as they look to try and prove me wrong.
But that was mid, to be fair.
Yeah. I know. Pushing in towards B. It's going to be Def and Kenzel here. And actually, May gets spotted out pushing towards Z by Crush, but he's just going to go ahead and leave fast as he can. Chopper is to watch out because players might be trying to do a bit of a cheeky boost up into the vent that he currently resides in. He does hear it coming through, and now these players find themselves sandwiched in between JR and Chopper. They do manage to fall on back into the site. Well, JR going to be tagged down low in response.
A lot of damage being done at the moment. Mir, the rifler for the team, is going to go down as well, which will give the AK over to the CT side. He has, however, taken a couple of players with him and made things a little bit more interesting, leaving weapons on the floor to be found. They're going to go rotating. Now, the bomb is trying to cross through mid, and this could be the end of the round here and now, because that's going to leave it in a horrible position. Hootie now looking like he'll have to clear out this site, get over to that highway spot, and it's just not happening. Chopper left alone, and although it takes a little while to finish him off, Kenza are unable to hit the spray. They will convert that round, and the early buy out from Vega Squadron does not work.
Yeah, I mean, this is where things do start to get scary for Vega. We saw that early buy worked well for Prosto. I mean, admittedly, it was returned back. But I mean, I just think yesterday when we saw these guys play, everyone was playing well for Vega Squadron. You know, everyone across the board was having just these insane plays, and it seemed like every round there would be one player getting a 3K, and then it would be switched up, and someone else would, you know, get a 4K. They would just go back and forth. This time, it's really Kashana and Mir who are making all the difference. And we do need to see the rest of the guys stepping up, especially as Prosto. They're just firing on all cylinders. Look at this from Smike and Crush over in mid as they get completely executed. It all falls onto Mir with the Deeg, who does manage to get one at least as a bit of a consolation, but then falls instantly to Kenza on the trade. 9-9 secured as the equalizer is found. The buy going to be coming in from Vega Squadron, and this is where they have to show us that they are still just as strong in these rifle rounds.
Yeah, I'm not really too worried for them as of yet, because the big thing is, like, their CT side was never particularly good. It was their T-side rifle rounds. Even the pistols, they were just poor throughout. They weren't able to convert any of the rounds. It was these rounds here where they get the weapons in their hands, they start trading effectively. As entry fraggers, they just seem to be flawless. Now, if Prosto can win this round, this is where they're proving that they are here to play today. This is where they're showing that they're looking to break this Vega Squadron T-side and can be the first team to show us that they can do it so far in this tournament, as we haven't actually seen Vega lose on cash as of yet. It came very close, overtime, in fact, versus Tengri, but they still managed to pull it back from a ludicrous scoreline, and here at 9-9, I would still put them firmly in the driver's seat. But as you said, we're yet to see the step up from some of the players, and one of them especially, Hootie, was phenomenal yesterday. In fact, JR was up there with him, so the fact that they're both sitting at the bottom of the scoreboard is a little bit worrying. However, Kashandra now seems to be much more awake than he was, having a star performance. And Mir, well, not really someone to underperform in these sort of circumstances. 50 seconds remains on the clock as they have the bomb towards the back, waiting to throw out a smoke. You also have one in Squeaky, trying to make some noise, trying to open things up, as mid-control now going to be the challenge. And that Squeaky door opening is actually so much information that maybe we'll see the rotation to B.
Yeah, rotating around, just trying to catch these guys off guard as 4 players go sneaking on by. Crush actually going to fall on the flank despite Kashana being so low on HP, but it doesn't matter because in towards B, Kenza's just knocking these guys down. Smike and Def have rotated in, and in the blink of an eye, it's all on Kashana. 1v4, and Def executes him. A fantastic B hold there from Prosto, and there you go. The pause going to be called on in. This is really the first time, at least versus Prosto, we've seen Vega Squadron have to take a pause.
Yeah, that was a very smart decision from the B site defenders. They knew there was only 25 seconds left on the clock, so you see them double flash. They throw out an incendiary as well to try and slow the push further, but they fall back to the very back of the site. Now, to clear that out, say when you've got a minute, not difficult at all. You can use your utility, you can sort of play the angles to your advantage. When you have 20 seconds, you pretty much have to run at them. And that is just never going to work. We've seen crazy highlights in the past. I still remember the Scream just ducking in and out as players peeking one by one. But it's very easy on that site if people are just running to just have those sort of peaks. And Kenza does it perfectly. Playing passive with support. And they just hold on to that B site very, very well. The perfect counter to the late round push. And because of it, once again, Vega going to be investing into Deagles. Now, we know how much damage they can do with these pistols. The CT side economy has started to build. They've got over 5 grand on 3 players now. But they still want more than that, just to make sure every player can rebuy and Chopper. Orp versus Deagle. The Deagle comes out on top.
Oh, Mir's head's going to be peeking on over there. I actually want to do one into it. Now, Vega, they're going to send all 5 players over here towards A. Flaric on the site with the AK. Going to be looking to try and hold the fort. The rotate can come in quickly from Highway on the back of Crush, but Flaric actually going to hit the deck early on as Chopper stepping up the Deeg in a big way, trying to get more work done, but no. Def and Crush just absolutely insane. A bit Def just to be the player to get those trades. Crush the one who's really been stepping up, though, for Prosto in these rounds. Fantastic stuff. Really quite refreshing to see, as now it's an 11-9 scoreline. 2 rounds the advantage of Prosto in this one. Smite going to be back on the AWP. And Tom, actually, I don't know if you saw it, but Slime just became my new favorite player. I don't know if you saw the name of his AWP is. But try and get a glimpse of that if you can.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you.
Goes,
You'll just discover it. Yeah.
I think I've seen it yesterday. Yeah, no, I remember that, actually. It's named after your father.
Yeah.
Boost employed. We saw this used by the opponents, Vega Squadron, and it worked very, very well. Double kill for Hootie. Considering where he sits, it does show how powerful that position can actually be. As he's got 8 frags total, and 2 of them came thanks to this spot. Looks like Vega are going to go back to basics. And a lot of the time, this is what works for them. Got a lot of players setting up over towards A. One player in middle looking to either hold for rotations or look to split up highway and catch players as they look to fall back. I'm hoping Vega will leave themselves a little bit more time because they have been running low and having to force the issue. Nobody playing highway is definitely intriguing, and now we see the setup moving onto the side. They've got presence over here. Flourish on the boost. This is where he can be isolated, but actually gets away with the kill. Eventually, though, he'll be traded back, and Crush, so low on HP, will fall, almost losing one more.
Bomb is going to be going down at Vega with a good return to form in this round. Chopper still in the back line over in mid. Smike able to get one before Jared has traded him out. Now Chopper can come in and help out as Def has actually rotated up through highway very, very quickly. They might get caught off guard though. They believe that mid is going to be clear. Both the players over towards Checkers. Quad currently, and JR finds the first. Chopper now on that flank, going to drop out Kenzo, and Vega go ahead and finally pick up a rifle round on this T side. A phrase that I never thought I'd find myself saying. They go ahead and lose the first 5 consecutively now, only just picking up their first round. I'm going to be able to take it to that 10-11 scoreline. It does leave them poised, though, for some future economic troubles if Prosto can pick this round up. They have got the AWP up on JR. AWP going to be on Smike as well for the side of Prosto, and already Crush making his way over towards mid. Can be taking up position over behind Sandbags. The only issue is I'm seeing is Prosto playing this mid hold with only Crush there to actually hold this back. And Vega are a team that we've seen time and time again like to try and exploit mid. They like to try and utilize these longer angles and then split in towards one of the sites. They ideally need to have a dedicated mid player. Maybe that could be in the form of Crush playing it from highway, but if that's how they're going to play it, they need to be boosting up a player into vents. You don't have a trade potential over a mid, and that is going to make things difficult. But already Smike actually opens this round up very successfully for Prosto, dropping out Kashanda. So the man advantage is going to be going the way of Prosto early on.
Pretty much dedicated to this B site the majority of the match, really. He loves to play over on that side, but not going to spot anything out. Now looks to sort of retreat back towards his teammate as they get below that minute mark and head towards this A site once again. 2 players waiting, 2 players on B, and then one sat in middle, and the one in middle will start things off as Chopper is actually going to go down. They look to hit out of Squeaky. In fact, this peeking from Crush, it's going to be slightly mistimed. He'll be called out, leaving only one on the site itself. Flourish has got a lot to do, and he'll get nothing done. It will be traded out eventually by Def, bringing it into a 3 versus 2. Now, he should wait. Play this patiently. Get his teammates in with him so they can take this together. They don't want to go in individually versus these players.
Yeah, they're kind of going to try and employ this boost. This could allow me to find the opening frag, but if it doesn't net him anything, then it's going to become very easy to flush these players out. That incendiary on Def could make all the difference. Bomb time going to be taken on down. Mina going to peek on out over the top of these smoke spots. The first down of Kenzo, but no, they both fall within seconds of each other. Defuse will come on in, and that's Prosto to go ahead and find themselves with a 12th round now under their belts as they still maintain this lead. They win one straight back. The bomb plant is going to allow investment into this round, but there's going to be no money left at the end of it for Vega.
I'm impressed. I have to say I'm impressed with Prosto so far in this CT side. They've been able to quell the demon that has been Vega Squadron throughout this tournament. 12 rounds already. the chance to reset Vega. As said, keeping that economy low is always going to be important versus a team that love these rifle rounds. This time, they're going for aggressive mid-play, but the counter is there, and actually, Mir can't fall back. He's got his teammate holding him into position, forcing him to burn. And because of it, they will both be so very low on HP. Wonderful start to the round for Rosto. Again, this is a chance to reset Vega Squadron towards the end of this map. The ladder stage is up and coming. Vega, they need to wake up a little bit. Once again has been employed. Push getting ready to come in. Flarage gonna go for the spray down, and he will get two. Once again, almost gets the third. He's got support from Crush to give them the advantage once again, and the bomb has been dropped. Luckily, there's a smoke covering it off. And actually, Mir looking to retreat back. He's alone though. He's left his teammate on the site. Even if he were to get out of here and get the bomb down, with 5 HP, how's he hoping to hold on to this? And they are going to know. I think they know exactly where this rotation is coming in. Kenza will now close one out. Smike is going to be waiting, but all this bomb plant really achieves is the small potential to get something in the next round. Mir, if anything, I would say just run away. Don't even bother fighting this, because to win this round is just going to be impossible. They do think it's on A, however, which will buy him a little bit more time. Mir going to be back towards middle. I think he's actually going to look to duck through the vents, and he'll catch off Kenza. That gives him one already. If he manages to pull this off, this will absolutely blow my mind. There's 2 players left. He's planted in the open. Finds himself the second as well. Smike, the only one left alive, switches over to the AK. Gonna go hunting for this kill. Mir, looking to pull off something ridiculous, will lose his life. The bomb ticking fast, but I think Smike has just about got the defusal.
Oh, if Mir had stayed alive for a couple more seconds, it would have made all the difference.
0.3.
Yeah. That was a phenomenal play, though, from Mir. Really fantastic stuff. Flanking on round, just taking, going aggressive, and it was something I really questioned. Could they have won the round if both players, stayed it out on A? Potentially. But they do manage to nearly make that work. Kashan was, however, kind of fed to the wolves over towards the A bomb site, which is something I always question whenever you go for a play like that, rotating a player off and essentially leaving, another to die in his place. When it's the 2v3, they were only at 1-man disadvantage, and you look at how much damage Mir was able to do on his own. But ultimately, it will be a 13th now for Prosto. The money for Vega has dried up, so they should be able to find a 14th. And Tom, they might be able to steal this map off of a Vega Squadron. I could have just spoke too soon. Might have just jinxed the whole thing. But it is exciting stuff here on the last day.
Zeus is coming to get you if that happens. And I wouldn't like to feel Zeus's wrath, if I'm honest. Scary looking bloke. I'm sure he's lovely. Nice shot from Smike, though. Man who looks a little bit like his son. Start things off. It is only pistols in this round, although I think Mir might have had an AK. Yeah, he's fully invested into this one. Trying to gamble a little bit. He did manage to pull off something wonderful previously. Chopper again with the Deeg. Always seems to get one. Not really going to help them win this round, and that's what they need at this point. Economic damage is nice, especially considering the CT side don't have a huge amount of money, but when it's getting towards a 14-10 scoreline, you're going to be needing a little bit more than that.
I'm going to be sneaking on by over mid. Smike watching it, though. Shuts down JR. The AK not even retrieved as it falls up on top of the box, and trying to get it, Kashan are going to go down as well. It all falls onto Hootie with the Deeg, and Smike, it's like shooting fish in a barrel for him. It goes ahead and gets all 4, and that is now Prosto 14-10. 1 round away from map point. On Vega's map pick, Vega's best map. I mean, this is some fantastic stuff right now from Prosto. Really going above and beyond. And Vega just not even looking like the same team. It is going to be the buy coming on in. But if they lose this, they're going to have no money left.
Hootie actually opting to give Mir the rifle, clearly feeling like he is the one to have it in hand. Has been having impact in this game so far, and Hootie not so much, it has to be said. Again, chop up, a lone lurker over towards this B site. Just going to be playing patiently. Chandra. Here, players stepping and has a chance to isolate Flarage and Will. Good start to the round. With a lot of damage being done in the meantime. Chopper low, and they're looking to try and catch him out on Will. Smike. Great stuff from him in the last few rounds. 21 and 14 overall. Now we're going to see the highway split, but there's two players in a crossfire here. Although the switch away could actually give them a chance, as now Crush is caught with death. And the A site will fall. The timing there just perfect. That squeaky door push completely confuses the defense and allows the highway players to do the damage. Smike does not want to give up this round, though. Looking for the peak, trying to find someone along the way. He'll spot out JR. That's the opening they need. He's not going to check over towards the squeaky door, however. And this will leave Kenza into a 1 versus 2. Again, he's been doing well so far. Knows where one of these players are. Can isolate the first. Just trying to spot out Mir. He knows where he is, but with the rifle, Mir will complete his double. Give an 11th onto Vega. And also, looking like a reset. If I am pro100 here, or prosto, I would probably just go for some pistols and get a buy in the next round. Now, they could risk it. They could get some UMPs, get the AWP as well, and a couple of rifles, but I just don't think it's worth it. Their full buys have been very good so far.
Why does your accent change so much when you say prosto?
Because I feel like if I just say prosto, it doesn't sound as good. I like saying it in an accent.
Okay, that's fine. No, dude, that's so good. I completely understand. Yeah, no, looks like they are going to go for the buy, which is risky. I mean, if this down doesn't work out, we're going to see them have to eco in the next. That would then allow a 13-14 scoreline, and even then the buy they can get into that round won't be fantastic. So yeah, I mean, it does make sense, I suppose. The worst you could see it going is 13-14 before they get a buy together. But I mean, it could give up a significant bit of their advantage. Let's see if it does pan out, though. 2 UMPs in play. The AWP up on Kenza. Curiously enough, not going to be tossed over to Smike. They've actually changed up who's taking that AWP. And he's been playing with it over towards B. Now, the bomb's actually rotating around over here towards the B bomb site. JR going to be here as well with the AWP of his own. Chopper, the first man to peek out. The smoke still blooming. It's going to start to dissipate. And, well, Kashana going to go down very early on. As Smike drops him out. Now has an AK to work with. Hootie trying to trade things back. But the smoke going to go down and just blossom in front of him to keep him from getting that trade. The man advantage secured. And down goes Chopper as well over towards B as Kenza holds the tight angle. The 2-man advantage now for Prosto. And looking difficult for Vega to make their way back into this one. Mir going to be the man trying to be the driving force behind that. Makes his way out towards A. Does find the first pop. Flashes out the players over on truck to try and allow Hootie to cross it into the open, but he'll fall as well. JR storming into the smoke as Mir trying to pull this one back single-handedly. JR now chiming in with the frag out on Kenza. Already snuck on by on the site. It's going to be Smike. He spots out JR, but JR actually shuts him down. Smike whiffs that shot, and Mir gets himself the triple. Drops out death. Fantastic stuff from JR and Mir there. In particular, Mir just stepping up in such a big way. He gets 2 entries and then a 3rd onto the rotating player through T-spawn. So truly fantastic stuff. Around the Vega Squadron had no business winning.
Yeah, and especially the way it started as well. It was so dominant in the early portions of that round from Prosto. And to be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed they didn't convert that one out. That would have been map point. That would have been a hard economic reset coming in for Vega Squadron as well. Instead, we have a real game on our hands once again, as they're going to have next to nothing in this round. They will have enough to buy in the next one, but no AWP can be in for Smike unless it's glass cannon, or unless he manages 2 or 3 kills with his pistol. They're not going to be able to do a huge amount of damage, which will give money over to this Vega Squadron side. Has Cassandra forgotten to pick up a gun, or has he just decided he wants a Glock and utility? Will he notice? No, but it's actually just the strategy. Okay.
I mean, yeah, I guess he knows the pros that don't have any money into this round, so the Glock is still going to be effective on these players that don't have armor. No, now he's got an AK. So it was accidental. Tom. Saying that was on purpose. Who do you think you are? Yeah, already damage being done over here towards B. Def actually able to find one. Uchi coming in swinging, goes in and takes two and a third. Everyone in B comes crumbling down. And now it's just Crush and Flaric into the 2v4. A retake in towards the B-bomb site. The P250 on Crush could find some damage. But I doubt they're even going to bother going for this. They don't want to give any more money, any more opportunity to way of Vega, even if it is $300 a kill. Crush coming in from behind, looking to try and find some exits. Flaric just waiting and over towards CT spawn. They're both trying to find these exit frags. Just trying to do the economic damage. And I mean, the likelihood of Vega just going to all exit together, don't want to go hunting, don't want to be running into these pistols, so the survival odds of one of these guys is going to be very low, and that player looks to be Flaric, the one player with a USP. Might better find one as he does do a dink out on Tucci, but no. Going to be shut down by JR into the boxes, and now Crush desperately trying to pick up where his teammate left off, rotating on round into mid. It will be a 13th now for Vega. The buy can come in from Prosto, but it won't be groundbreaking.
Fact, it won't be coming at all. Oh wait, never mind. Just buy a P250 before you buy guns. Okay, fine. Just confuse me, Crush. Make me look like a fool. They will go for the force. Well, it's not really a force, it's a buy, but it is limited in terms of smokes. The AWP has been massive in opening up rounds, and Prosto looking like they're about to fall at the final hurdle. However, nice start from Crush. A double down as well. Cassandra looking for this trade, will be able to get it, but Smike is instantly there to keep the two-man advantage going that Crush created for his team. Massive start. It's JR and Chopper. Two players who haven't performed quite up to the level we've seen of them so far. However, as said, when we've seen them previously on this map, they have been able to step up when their team needs them the most. And this is definitely it. The money, enough to get a buy of sorts in on the next round, but not one that they will want to be going into it with. JR spots out Flaric, hits the shot, but it's not quite enough to finish him off. Chopper, however, is there to take down that A-site player. We are going to see Smike holding off the cross as well, which means it's down to just Chopper. 1 versus 3 to stop his opponents getting to map point.
Yeah, can be moving on back towards him, and Kenzo is here. Waiting for his teammate. Spots out where Chopper is, but Chopper going to get the frag. Now on 2. He has to get the 4K if he wants to clutch this one out. Both players within the site. Going to be Molotoving off the push, but Chopper's already up close. Defuse looking to come on in. Smike has to try and watch his teammate here. And Chopper just sneaking up on top of Red. Finds the first, has to get another, but no, the Defuse stuck. Will be picked up. Chopper gets all the frags necessary and survives on 4 HP. But he doesn't account for Def sticking the defuse. I think he thought it was Smike, the one who was fake defusing. And now the tactical pause called in from Prosto in this round. They lose everyone, meaning they've got very little money to invest. The buy coming in from Vega are actually going to be stronger than that of Prosto. But they are at map point. At a map point on cash, which is Vega's map pick. And I would argue they've been playing better.
Yeah, I wouldn't even argue that. A lot of the time, even in these sort of later rounds, the rounds they've been losing have actually been the clutches, which, if anything, states that Vega Squadron have been down in a lot of these rounds. The opening sort of start has been wonderful. Now, you do have to give props to Vega for being able to clutch out those rounds in the first place, but at the same time, it means that things are going right for Prosto, that they need to do it in the first place. So, yeah, definitely impressed by what I've seen. Hoping that, if anything, they can make this series quite a bit more interesting by taking this first map, because then, well, it goes on to Mirage. Now, of course, CT side, they have to do something special. They have to go aggressive, because they have no utility to play with, and, well, to start with, at least, they've got themselves a trade.
You know, they don't know this, but they could have kept the aggression going. They would have been able to get the AK. There was no one there to trade things out, but instead they make the decision to play things safe and fall on back. And as you say, that looks like Kenzel is now tempted to go aggressive, and Hoochie's going to be watching from T-spawn, does momentarily clear the angle. Bomb going to be dropped over mid. It looks like A site is going to be the site in question. 3 players here, though, 4 pros, so it does give them a fighting chance if the push comes in. Imagine they're going to try and utilize this boost as they do go ahead and stick a player up there. That's going to be Hoochie. Just left to watch middle. Flaric and Smike within the A-bomb site. I mean, maybe Vega going to get the read on this, that because they found that frag early over on B, they're going to assume that Prosto have now got players on the A-bomb site. We might actually see them head in towards B, especially as the bomb crosses out over towards vents. They have 3 players here, so they do make the right read. Kenzel here on his own does manage to get one, but Hoochie going to be able to trade things out. It will be the 3-on-3 in the retake. The first man on the scene is going to be crushed, and he has to step up in a big way. Does the damage on a 1. Kenzel... Sorry, Kashanda going to be able to trade things out. Looking like he was going to get 2, but not quite. As now it's Flaric and Smike into the 2-on-2. JR going to go ahead and get this bomb down. Kashanda been playing insane. JR having a bit of a quiet performance, but having the AWP in this hole is going to be worth its weight in gold as Flaric and Smike now like to push on in. Kashanda going to be caught off guard out in the open, tagged down extremely low, but JR holding CT eliminates Flaric, and that will be the 14th round to go the way of Vega. At this point, Tom, overtime looking incredibly likely, as Prosto have no money left to invest.
This is the unfortunate truth at the moment, that the money has been the burden of the CT side for the last few rounds, losing every player to the hands of Chopper. It's actually set Vega up wonderfully to get themselves to OT. Definitely not something I thought I'd be saying after the first half, as we've seen Prosto able to get 9 rounds on their CT side versus a T side that has been impeccable up to this point, up to this map. Need 1 more. There's still a chance. We know how effective these pistols can be. Gonna try, by the looks of it, go for some aggression. There is going to be a player waiting, however. Cassandra hasn't been one to miss so far in this game, and they're not going to overstep their boundaries. They're going to wait. Fall back to the site. Clear the angles. Make sure there's nobody close as of yet. The bomb in the hands of the AWP of JR. Be waiting over towards that B site with still 2 players. Just holding in mid. They're expecting aggression, and rightly so. Pistols, you'd normally see some pushes coming out. We have, just not anything overly aggressive, but now hot flash out. They will hear the AWP rattle off a shot down. 45 seconds. Things starting to get a little bit more interesting. If CTs can just hold them back a little bit longer, maybe there's a chance, but it's looking like they're going to go pushing in. They catch out one onto death. Crush being tapped away at. Kenza will be able to get 1, but that's all he can do. Crush not even going to be able to manage that. And now the remaining 2 players rotating in. Smike, he's found 1, picked up at Eagle. Switching out. Flaric has actually snuck into the site and spamming through the smoke. There may be a chance. JR so close to being tagged down. Flaric, he's managed an AK. He's brought things close for Smike. Looking for this clutch. Will peek out. Finds Cassandra. JR very low on HP as well. He only needs to connect 1 bullet and he will save this for his team. Goes peeking and it's the headshot. JR finishes him off. So close to taking this map, but it's not to be. An overtime will follow.
I mean, that was a roller coaster of a round. That was actually fantastic, Tom. It was looking like Prosto could have had that. It was so incredibly close there at the end. JR as well, a player who had fallen a little bit silent in the early stages of this, but he was able to clutch things out. And I mean, you know, maybe it was a situation you could have said they never should have had to have been in the clutch, but it was fantastically played from Prosto. They did phenomenal stuff in order to create these opportunities. But now as we look at it, it is going to be OT. It is Vega Squadron's map pick, let's not forget. A map that when we saw these 2 teams play on yesterday, it was a convincing win for Vega. And since then, Prosto, they've come out and they've been firing on all cylinders. They've secured this OT. And now we just have to wait and see, because I would say that Vega have picked things up in these last couple of rounds. They've looked better. They've looked to be, you know, getting back to form, which is scary if you are Prosto.
it's difficult to tell which way this will go, because in the early stages of this second half, we saw the money on Proster. They were able to reset Vega a couple of times and make sure they weren't able to buy up. But then similarly, we can say the same for Proster being reset in the latter rounds. Vega were able to break their economy, and actually that sort of all the kills, the 4K coming in from Chopper, even though he lost the round, was enough to actually leave them in a position where they weren't able to buy for the last 1 or 2, and it sort of left the problem of overtime coming up. So it's very difficult to actually predict who's going to do better with the full buys, because it's been very back and forth. It hasn't been dominant by any stretch. Previously, even when we saw the games yesterday versus Tengri, the buy rounds seemed to be the big thing for Vega. Maybe not so much on Mirage. If you exclude that, then you look at Overpass and Cash, even as individual maps, you saw that if you take the buy rounds, if you took the pistols out of both of those maps, they win them. Obviously, they already won Cash, but with Overpass, it was 16-13, and the pistols were going the way of Tengri. So, normally, throughout this tournament, the buys, where the money is in the hands of Vega, they've been much better. But in this matchup, it's been very 50-50, and I have to say, Prosto have definitely come out fighting today. We could be having an upset on our hands, but they now need to show that they have the stones to take it forward in overtime, because it's a very different game the second you get here. The fact is, they had the match points, or the map points. They were the ones in the driver's seat, and the comeback definitely gives the momentum over to the team that then brings it back to OT. So they have to make sure that they believe in the way that they've been playing, they stay confident and continue to just look good. And also the other thing, I don't know if you'll agree with me on this, but for quite a while we haven't seen the AWP, and that was something that early in the rounds was a very big thing, especially for Smike.
Yeah, I mean, we even really saw the AWP kind of get switched around to Kensor there towards the end, which was, you know, a choice which I don't really think he had as much impact as Smike was having. I think it was a bit of a weird decision to make to then switch that up towards the end when seemingly the AWP had been working. But yeah, I mean, that is an interesting one. It was something that I think both of us noticed, and I can't quite say what the reason was behind it. I guess just because they felt like maybe in some of the retakes, maybe it wasn't too helpful, but it was having a very good early round impact. And I think that was as we started to see Vegas start to have their comeback, the AWP got picked up less and less. And I think the reason being is because heading into the retakes, it did seem to be something that was holding them back or restricting them. Now, could they have done better with the AWP? I'm not entirely sure if either of us are qualified to say.
Seems like they are going to be having a short break. Catch their breath a little bit. Don't blame them, really. I have to say as well, I've been hugely impressed by just the level as well. It seems like they've hit a new level. Like Crush, he was good yesterday in the game versus QB to get them to this point. But it was hard to say whether or not it was Prosto stepping up or QB just not performing. But in this matchup, I think it's clear to say that Crush is definitely playing much, much better. And that's the difference. I think that's the definite difference. Because you still have Smike, you still have Kenza. You still have them ready and raring to go. And now Crush with them as well. With Impact coming in from Flourish. I think him being at the bottom of the board is actually quite surprising considering how much he's been able to do. It just means it's a much more well-rounded team. And clearly, from what we've seen from Vega, a much harder team to break down.
Yeah, well, we're going to be heading now into the first round of overtime. Vega over on the T side, Prosto kicking things off on the CT side. Can be going for an AWP on either side, as you would expect. Smike with his trusty AWP back in hand. And well, already 4 players of Vega over here towards the A-bomb site. They are going to be looking to try and move in fairly swiftly by the looks of things, as they completely neglect other areas of the map, not even boosting a player up in mid, as JR now rotating around to rejoin the rest of the ranks over here towards A. Smike and Flaric within the site. Crush playing highway can quickly rotate up to help at a moment's notice. Pop Flash and Smoke's going to be raining on him, but Smike does find the first, trying to fight for his life. Crush going to be helping on out. Smike is going to go down, but Flaric's within the site. Crush falls on highway, but Flaric still doing damage, still holding these guys back and buying time for the rotates to come in is finally going to be dealt with. It will be a 2-on-2. JR and Hoochie to try and keep Vega in this first round of OT.
Shot from Kenza though, as he spots Hootie as the smoke begins to fade. JR left alone, the flashbang won't allow him to catch the player crossing over, and he spotted out Kenza, but the player getting closer and closer is going to be Def. They're going to try and play this one together. They've got kits, they have the time, and although he'll get one, he will not be able to have a second shot onto Kenza. Well played by Prosto in that retake. They'll take the first in OT.
And yeah, that was like a textbook way of dealing with someone over towards quad, because quad is a very strong position where you could easily clutch out 1v2, especially a player like JR with that AWP. And you notice, I mean, they're more than aware that Kenza just plays the bait position, allowing his teammate to go ahead and push on up. And then they both approach him from the same angle, knowing that the odds are going to be able to take the first one. They don't want to risk going in, you know, or mistiming that at all. They just both run in at the same time. So now the buy coming in from Vega is going to be there. JR going to be limited in terms of his utility, though, as he is in the AWP both times. And he's going to lose it straight away. Ken's all this time with the AWP stepping up in a big way. The double AWP setup going to be proving it's worth its weight in gold. Def goes down. Kenza next to follow. It will be the 3-on-3. Smike's already rotated in. The Molotov to hold back Crush from the vents rotate. Smike trying to hold the site up from heaven. This round, another very, very fast, aggressive round coming in from Vega. Bomb is going to go down. Chopper could be the difference maker here, playing it very, very passively. Hoochie to find the first on a Flaric. Turning his attention now towards CT as Smike just goes barreling in, going to be punished for that, leaving it all on Crush. 1v3 does drop down from Vents, finds the first. Bomb going to be taken away, though. He's got to be fast here as he charges in towards the site. The timing could allow him to potentially get this frag on Hoochie, but no, going to be fully blind. Hoochie peeking out from heaven. Double peeks in with Kashana, and they will drop him out the equation. 16-16 as Vega go ahead and take that second round straight back. And now this third one, going to be crucial.
Actually forced up a second AWP in that last round, and that's going to leave them a little bit down on money, in fact, on the CT side, and this could be quite problematic because we've seen in the retakes how crucial their utility has been. We've seen incendiaries multiple times forcing players out of position on that A site, and they don't have a single one in their hands for this final round of the first half of OT. Mid control going to be completely abandoned by the CT side. Flaric left in the open, and Mir will punish because of it. Already they take that early man advantage as Vega look to double down on their T side. They're just going to be playing things patient, though. They've split the defense. One player on A, one set towards middle. Kenza, however, looking tempted to go for a rotation, or at least play towards the back of CT so he can at least like rotate quickly. He can get out of there. But instead, ball may just be wrong as we now see Chopper, player who loves this B site, going to be the first one to enter.
Yeah, a lot of this going to fall onto Kenza and Def, the two B-side players. Kenza in that smoke, able to find the first. Now falls back. Def going to be allowed to take the peak as a result. Bomb dropped, and Kenza spraying on through, doing a boatload of damage. Crush on the flank, and they're shutting this down. It all falls on a Kashanda 1v3, and they charge him down. A textbook B-hold from Prosto in that round. Fantastic stuff. The rotate from Crush, worth its weight in gold, just pivotal to them picking this one up. A round that looked like it was going to go the way of Vega from the very offset does end up going the way of Prosto, meaning that now they only need 2 rounds on their T side if they want to win this out.
Well, it's got 3 players on over 30 kills. It's just impressive how they're all managing to do so well. While Crush on that quick rotate, just hitting some lovely shots towards the end. Even dinks up the third. Definitely making that retake happen. But I also like the fact that they always seem to have a player towards the back of the site, which is just annoying for this T side to clear. They keep having to try and just aggressively throw nades at him and just spray him down, and whoever it is always seems to get 1 kill. Either way, Crush is gonna go for the timing, and we saw Vega doing this earlier in the tournament. We haven't seen a single other team try the body wallbang as of yet, but not only will he find a frag, he finds Cassandra.
Yeah, that is one of the Goliaths of Vega taken down very early on. I mean, very early on. Doesn't even get to see an enemy. And that's one of the, I guess one of the downsides to that body wallbang. Oh, Prosto, they're going to be turning their attention over towards mid. They boost up Flaric, biding their time. I've got a player listening out and watching Squeaky. That's going to be Kenzel. Crush over here towards B, waiting for that smoke to dissipate. 2 players on the B bomb site. Effectively 2 on A. You've got JR holding mid, but the highway rotate takes seconds before he can help his teammates out. And while the smokes and flashes now going to rain down out in towards middle as Prosto boost 2 players up to try and contend with JR over on highway, and he's going to fall at the first hurdle. The 2-man advantage secured here for Prosto in this round. A huge start from them. As now they turn their attention out towards A. Hoochie only able to get 1. There's no rotate to come in to help him, leaving this on Chopper and Mir. 2 versus 4, but we've seen them pull back far more far-gone rounds in the past. They have to try and make their way into the site. Flaric playing it very passively in 3 main. Only leaves 3 players here, and Midge going to be fast on his feet to find the first. No trade to come through just yet. Crush able to pounce out and find one on the Chopper, but Mir's still alive and kicking. Spots the player in A main, and also the player up on the rafters. Has a good idea that Kenzel's going to be over here by Forklift. Spots him out. Kenza going to be falling at the first hurdle as well, leaving this now on Flaric in the 1v1. Mir first has to deal with him, peeking out towards A main. The frag, and Mir gets a 4K, clutches that round out. Fantastic stuff from him. Vega, they go ahead and find themselves this first round in the second half of OT to take us to 17-17. And honestly, I'm lost for words, Tom.
Oh. Gets all 4 players on the retake. This guy is literally nuts. 32 kills. Overtakes Cassandra, and I have no idea how Prosto lose that round. Like, it's incredible from him to be able to isolate all of those players, take those 1v1s, but it shouldn't be happening. He shouldn't be able to get away with that much. And now we even see a double orb setup come in for this CT side. They're going to throw in some cheesier strategies, try and work that pick play, which hasn't worked for them so far. No body wallbang this time to start things off for Prosto. Gonna have to work the picks like normal Counter-Strike players.
Yeah, just taking things slowly in this round. Kashani going to be watching mid. Has Chopper up close. 2 players here for Vega Squadron. The crossfire set up. Oh, Prosto looking like they might be making their way over here towards A. They could try boosting up Smike in towards middle. The only issue is he has to worry. Actually saying that Chopper's just dropped back, so now there is only Kashanda here. 3 players in A main. Ken's over in Squeaky with only 40 seconds left. They're just going to take the gamble and rotate everyone round over here towards A, and it's the right call to make as Vega. They're going to have a very stacked site to hold back Prosto in this engagement. Push about to come on through. 4 players here for Vega, 4 players here for Prosto as well, as it is going to be even odds. They have to find the first. No trade frag out just yet, but then suddenly Kashanda and Hoochie between them go ahead and find 2. Kashanda still putting in work on the site, and Crush coming in through Vega. Going to assume that it's clear, but no, Chopper in the backline shuts him down, leaving this on Smike. Does find 1, but Chopper's there to trade from Highway, and Vega, they find themselves in 18th, now 1 round away from winning this out, and a broken economy on Prosto means that only 3 players can afford to buy.
So much to just look back on after this game. So many times when you have to wonder if they could have closed things out, but now, for now at least, they are fighting for their survival in this map. Not something I was expecting after the performance that they've had. Vega Squadron, the favourites, for sure. Trying to finish this one off. They've got their double ops once again. The read in the last round was perfect. managing to just catch these players pushing in. This time, it's not going to be the same. They've got 2 players here waiting. It's going to be down to them. The buy definitely not as good. Smike being spotted out already will lose Cassandra, but it's going to be Mir once again to trade one back, and he's hungry for frags. He's going to go pushing through the smoke. Gets himself a second, but finally they've dealt with him. Hootie's very low on the site. Will go down as well, though, as it's going back and forward. But it's the CT players very low on HP. JR trying to catch one. Kenza and Flaric now to hold on.
Yeah, 69 HP between them. Flaric and Kenza holding off this push coming on in, and Kenza being, one of the standout players for Prosto. Flaric having an okay performance as well. They don't really have the best crossfire set up, and actually Ken's going to be spotted on out, but now Chopper's a lot of angles left to clear. Flaric will finish things off, and that's going to be it. We're going through to double overtime, 18-18. Tom, I think this game could go on forever.
I'm going to have a heart attack by the end. There's no easy rounds. There's no such thing anymore. We haven't seen a clean one in a while. It's always been a clutch. It's always been a 2v2 or a 4v2 or however many. 1v4 in the case of Mir. But every single time, somebody seems to have a big performance that allows them to bring it back. In that round, Mir gets a double and then it's instantly traded. Doesn't seem to be a weak link to any of these teams at the moment. There's definitely some stronger ones. 3 players over 30 kills over on that T side. 2 players. Vega. Still waiting to see a couple more step up a little bit more. Maybe that'll be the way they actually end up closing this game. But we go into this double OT. Waiting to see if there'll be sort of interesting strategies, or if it is just going to be a bloodbath all the way through, because that's pretty much what we've been witnessing. Just sheer brawls all over the sites, and then one victor stands above the bodies.
And well, this one could be the overtime to decide who that victor is. Early on, Kashani making his way over towards mid. Has Chopper here as well. They do have a crossfire set up. Prosto, they've got 3 players over here towards A. Crush going to be on his lonesome, lurking over at B, and that seems to be his role in the start of these rounds, is just wait and see if any aggression does come out. See if he can find an early frag for them to act upon. 2 players over in Squeaky, about to make their way out over towards A. Hootie and Mert turn their attention over here now towards Squeaky door. Smite clearing out the angle with the AWP. And the bomb, not entirely dedicated yet. It's just going to be waiting, biding its time. There's still plenty of time left, so that is going to be the right decision to make. But as Flaric now makes his way up through A main as well, it looks like the bomb site could be the one installed. Def going to be joining him. 4 players here now over towards A with Crush in the back line. JR going to be holding this angle over at B, so Crush, if he takes his peek, could go down, but no. 2 players over at Squeaky. Just going to be chipped away out from Chopper over on Highway. Crush now turning his attention over towards middle. Looks like they are going to try and commit that out towards A with only 35 seconds left. I guess they sort of have to at this point. Pop flash is going on out to try and allow them presence into the site. Crush able to find the first. Still one player there in the form of Mir, who's caused so many problems in the past, but this time not the case. They have to watch out because Hoochie been allowed to stay alive in the back of the site. Over towards Quad. Could hold this whole thing down. Chopper rotating on in. They've got so much presence on the site. JR shutting players down from truck. It all falls on a Flaric, who does get one. But then Hootie picks him up. A fantastic performance from him, in particular, to rotate round, stay alive on the back of Quad, and just buy so much time for the rest of Vega to rotate in.
I think that's the second time now that we've seen them clear one player off the site and just forget Quad. And that's not good enough. You have to be clearing that angle. You have to be making sure there's nobody there when you go to plant the bomb, because he's just able to get away with 3 kills. They check that position and they win that round. That's pretty much it. It was an individual performance from Hootie to able to keep them going in that one. Otherwise, we may have even seen the AWP saved out from the CT side. Instead, it's Vega. Got themselves up to 19, looking for their second round over on this CT side. A little bit of a heavier presence over towards the B site. We saw a lot of the time in the sort of first half of this game, which seems so long ago, but it was Chopper alone, even with a Deagle sometimes. Instead now, they have the support of the AWP. Chopper even going to look to try and take some presence over towards mid, as the rest of the players are able to now rotate away from Z and take a different angle altogether. B side still just playing patiently. Again, start set up in towards middle. They have to be careful of this then. Spot and Flaric takes down Chopper, starts things off, gives them that control. We're even going to see Cassandra fall back a little bit. Mir will have to switch up his position as well, but instead it's going to be B, and this is problematic now as JR's the only one here.
This might going to be roasted in the Molotov. The rotate's coming on in. The utility being used to hold back this push, and he's bought plenty of time. JR to get one, but then we'll fall within the site, and Kashan are going to be punished pushing in as well. It all falls onto Hoochie. 1 versus 4. Bomb is going to go down. Looking like he's going to try and go for this still. Trying to find something in through the... Not great. He's going to be tagged away fairly low, actually, by Flaric, and hasn't found anything in return. And just like he could make the decision to go ahead and save, trying to exit out through mid, there is a player here waiting for him in the form of Crush. He will shut him down, and that's 19-19 for us to go ahead and take one straight back. And now the economy of Vega are even going to get called into question a bit.
Yeah, I think they could have used that extra weapon. Wonder, yeah, Cassandra going to have to use the UMP, same for Chopper as well. Not the end of the world, but at the same time, he saves an extra rifle, and it definitely bolsters the buy quite a bit. P side, not going to have any problems. Crush. Here we go again. Is he going to hit it? Oh, actually, we see some hesitation. Chopper doesn't go for that early pick just in case. And that actually saves his life, so smart stuff from him. Cassandra will be tagged in main, but he actually wins the duel, and that's going to be a rifle for him anyway, so upgrading early in this round. Kenza taking a lot of damage himself as he sprays through the door. Second round could be crucial going into that second half of OT.
Yeah, Bros are going to be trying to grab control of mid. Def boosted up. Smike there as well. Smoke going to go down to send Chopper back to the depths from which he came. As actually he's going to make a decision to stay over mid. 2 players now pushing down through highway, looking to try and trade this back and get control of mid. Smike going to boost it up. Does find the first with the AWP. Mir still doing damage. Goes ahead and claims a second. Def, the player who's meant to trade things back, going to fall as well. Now Crush and Kenzo find themselves turned into a 2-on-3. Kenza actually going to drop out Hoochie over here towards the A-bomb site. Is tagged down to a measly 1 HP and then falls to Mir, leaving this now all on Crush. 1 versus 2. Going to sneak on by into B. Rotate off from JR, going to allow him to cross into the site. Sneaking on up, and actually if the peek had come in from JR there, he would have been able to find the frag. Crush is going to opt to plant this one safe. And JR now just has to wait for Mir to rotate on in. Doesn't want to be in a position where he could get peeked and have this turn into a 1-on-1. Ball going to be taken away. They hear him drop down in towards CT. JR going to take the peek out as a result. Mir about to peek in through checkers, but no. Crush finds the first. The Molotov going to burn him off the site. Out and round, he peeks in the waiting arms of Mir, who will shut him down. Another 4K from Mir to pick this one up from Vega. He's been phenomenal. Just the backbone behind Vega in these rounds. It will be 19-19. Sorry, 20-19 is the score.
You could say all of these round wins are a miracle.
Yeah, you could.
You're a bad person. Oh, God. 20-19. The game continues. CT side now in Proster. They were able to do better this side of the map in normal time. See if they can continue same sort of straight. They'll need all 3 rounds if they want to take this. 2 to stay alive in this game. And that's how many Vega need to finish things off. Already JR. Not quite the kill. Def will go down to just 16 HP, weakening their defense in middle already. I think it's going to be thrown out, but Really anything spotted. JL's actually going to switch up his position. Only a single orb this time. We saw multiple brought in the second round of this CT side. Smite going to be holding the angle, however. Actually going to go quite aggressive. Through the smoke as well. Flashbang out. He will just fall back. Not worth the risk. Rounds are so crucial to this CT side at the moment. They want to win. As said, they need all three.
And Flag just going to get executed out there towards A. This could facilitate the push to come on in. 2 players still for Vega over here towards B. Now going to look to rotate on off as Chopper and JR now try to rejoin the team out towards the A-bomb site. Crush has rotated in from Highway, but that's left mid entirely open, and it wouldn't surprise me if we do see Chopper and JR try and utilize that. Smite going to be rotating around. Does have the AWP and is going to now take up position over in mid. It does leave Kenza, however, alone on the B-bomb site if they do decide to switch things up. But with only 32 seconds left, seeming fairly dedicated out towards A. Now the bomb going to be rotating in and smokes and flashes to open things up. Mir finds the first down on Crush, and well, Def had to stay alive to allow some time for these players in mid and B to rotate on round, and it will be Smike and Kenza 2 versus 5 in this retake. Smike goes down in mid, and if I were Kenza, I'd just be trying to save at this point. Smike going to be low on money. Does manage to get the AWP, and yeah, he's going to look to try and hold on to it. Will be tagged low, and that could be found by Hoochie. No, instead it's Chopper to eliminate him there as he looks to try and save it. Will be 21-19. Vega need 1 more round to win this out.
Oh, we've got our first 2 players to hit the 40 bombs. Mir and Crush. Cassandra slowing down a little bit, but it does seem that that's come with the step up of a few other players on his team. In the meantime, Smike and Kenza haven't had so much of an impact in the last couple of rounds, which is starting to be a bit of a problem. 3-man strike force. Wake up again. Need to help with Prosto. Get them through to another round of time. They can't win in this one. They can only survive. Vega Squadron 1 round away from taking this to map number 2. Of course, this is only the first map. We've still got a potential 2 maps to go. What is the first game of the day? Still have our grand final later on, but this is for the qualification to the major qualifier. Most important thing on offer at the moment. The money is nice, but what these guys came for. Looking like early on. It left. We're going to see some B presence taken. Chopper lining up the Molotov, but isn't going to throw it as of yet. Likely to be used to clear out the box. Going to see Molotov into vent as well to make sure there's nobody there in terms of mid. 40 seconds left. We're going to have to see the split soon, and that Molotov may just ruin some of the timings. In fact, we're going to see the bomb go rotating back over towards this A side, but from what the CTs have seen so far, they're thinking it is going to be this B hit. Be able to take 1 more. They've already found all the entries they desire over on this A site. 3 players rotating in from 1 angle, but it looks like it may just be done. It's down to Def and Kenza to try and save this for their team, and it's just not to be. Vega, they make the comeback happen. It's been a long match. Definitely not the dominating performance we saw from them previously, but it seems that Prosto have fallen. And they will have, well, they will have another chance on Mirage, but they have got to win to survive.
Yeah, I mean, you know, fantastic stuff there coming on in from both teams. I was really impressed with Prosto. I think you were as well. I mean,
yes.
It exceeded our expectations. Take it through to double overtime and then lose out. Just couldn't quite close it out there when we were in the second half of this game. And while it is going to be Vega winning out their map pick on cash, next up is Mirage, though, which could allow Prosto to try and take us through to map number 3. And as you said, I mean, if they wanted to win it out, you thought it had to go 3 maps anyway. With how close this first one was, do you now think that maybe they could do it?
Oh, well, maybe, yeah, for sure. It's the biggest problem I have now is, okay, if you lose in a dominant fashion, to shrug that off and just say, okay, things went badly, things went wrong, is quite easy to do. I feel like it's much easier to get dominated and then go back into the next map saying, okay, that was their map choice, this is ours. To go that close, to have multiple map points, to have so many chances to actually finish off this game and then lose, it's going to hurt so much going forward. And to reset themselves is going to take a lot. The thing they have to take from this was a map that they were dominated on before, and they've come back very, very strong. And now going on to the map, which is their pick, Nuke, the final map as well. If they get there, I think this is going to be an incredible series. But they've got to take it as, okay, now it's our chance to win. And all I can really say is I'm looking forward to what's coming up after the break. Make sure you don't go anywhere, as we will have the second map, and Vega now with the potential to take this 2-0 and get themselves to that major qualifier.